I didn't know that he was gonna end up playing basketball. Like he said he wanted to be a high school basketball coach.
Now this is where I think she was kind of talking out of her ass, because how could you say that? Oh well, he said he was gonna be a high school basketball coach. He's a son.
You thought
of
Curry
an
was
NBA
gonna be a
player.
high school basketball
Albeit
coach?
they
Like,
met,
like,
you know, at
keep it G,
14,
bro.
15, some years
Keep
old,
it,
13,
keep it
14,
all the
whatever
way
the
G.
case
You
may
thought
be. They
Curry
met
was
at
gonna be a
early
high school
teens
basketball
of their
coach.
age, right? And then they ended up becoming a relationship on their late
And I, bro,
teens.
son of
But
NBA
Steph
player.
Curry during his
This
high
nigga
school
was not
years,
nobody. He was a
albeit they were
3-star.
away from each other.
30 points per
He's
game at
All-State.
Davidson.
He's a 3-star recruit.
Yo. Welcome back to the room, and we're back at it with another video. Today we're gonna be reacting to Ayesha Curry airing out Steph Curry again by Chiseled Adonis. Before we get into this video, make sure to sub, like, and comment if you feel like it. Let's get straight into the video.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married.
Crazy way to start off the
go and you
video.
hang out with him.
Mhm.
What is
Married
your
woman
headspace?
talking
Are you
about I
seeing
didn't
him in
want
like
kids.
could this be something kind of way? Or
No.
are you like, no?
I just didn't think it was gonna be a thing. I
You
thought
were in
we
a
would
friend
be
group.
friends. Yeah, I was gonna be like the girl out there getting it.
All right, so
The girl
Ayesha
out there
Curry is
getting it.
causing
What does that
an
even mean? You
uproar
could be
on
the girl
social
out
media
there
because she
getting
recently
it
went
with
on
a
the Call Her
husband.
Daddy podcast and evidently disrespected her husband, Stephen Curry.
Oh,
Four
Ayesha
kids.
Curry
Did
disrespects
you
husband
always knew
again.
You
Hey,
wanted
this
a big family.
old
No.
news.
So, I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married.
Your kids
I
gonna grow
thought
up
I was
and they're
be
gonna see their
career
mom
girl, and
saying
that's
that
it.
she
And
didn't
I had
even
my
want
eyes
kids.
set on my
So basically she's saying that
goals,
she didn't want
and I
y'all.
was
She
never
didn't
the
want
little
y'all
girl
niggas.
that, like, dreamt about
She just
the
oh
wedding
she had
dress
to.
and all of that, and then
she
it
dealt with
happened
it
so early
all this
in
time.
my life. So it's like it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
People heard that clip and immediately started running with it, saying, how much more ungrateful can Ayesha Curry be? For one, it's a slap in the face to her 4 children.
Yeah, I'm not
for
gonna
saying that she
lie.
never really wanted to be a
If
mother,
you
and
think
furthermore, slap
Curry
in the
is
face to her
too
husband,
much and
Steph Curry, by saying
he's
she
this,
had
hey, give him
no
to me, bro.
plans to be
I'm
a
not
wife.
even
She
gay,
solely
bro.
wanted to focus
If
on
he's
her
too much, bro,
and
there is a
figuring it out in her
million
career,
people,
whatever the
dudes,
case may have been.
girls that
Couple
will
that
take
with
him
what
off
she
you,
said
bro.
on the
If
Red
you feel
Table
like
Talk 6.5
everything is too
years
much,
ago.
I
Something
promise
that
you,
really bothers
anybody in the
me
world would
and,
want to
like,
be in your
honestly has
situation.
given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that
Hey,
like,
no
there
Diddy,
are all
no
these
Diddy,
women,
no
like,
Diddy,
throwing
no
themselves.
Diddy, no
But
Diddy.
me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero. This sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to.
It don't sound weird, but I feel like she has to think about it realistically, right? Why would the average man want to shoot at the wife of the greatest shooter of all time? 6'3", light-skinned millionaire, gold medalist, top 10 NBA player ever. Why would I want to shoot at his wife? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? It's just common sense.
Internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What?
You're not
Like,
looking.
because I dealt with that for years too. Like, and I was young, like you. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. I mean, because I don't want it, but it'd be nice to know that like someone's looking. But when
your
your radar's
dangerous.
turned off, right?
It'd be
right,
nice
you're
to
real
know that
never think for
somebody's
1
looking.
minute that it ain't no some men
You
out
got a
there looking at
whole
you like,
husband.
I
Why do you care if
and I'm
somebody's
gonna
looking
tell
or
you who
not?
knows
Like,
that more than anybody. Your husband.
And then when she went on The Real 8 years ago,
This is gonna turn
nah,
into a
I
whole other
forgot
thing, but my
about
husband
this.
really loves my feet.
Faking to pull off your ring with a
Might
husband,
take
I
him
don't
just right
care.
that
Like,
day.
that's not no
And so I was
funny
like,
joke
"Let
to
me
me,
just
bro.
snap this photo instead of
That's
picking
not
my
no
feet."
funny
So
joke
I
to me.
think when he
Like,
says to send
I don't
nudes,
care,
like, that's
bro.
what he's getting, a picture of my bare feet. I don't know if he's happy about that, but that's
Probably know something about him. He likes feet.
he's going to kill me.
wow,
Anything and
this is just a situation in which the
everything to
internet
try to
doesn't
embarrass
forget, and
him, like-
furthermore, the internet will not forgive, because you got to take into context what it was that she was doing. For one, when she went onto The Real, here comes this shirtless man for whatever segment they have going on. She, unprovoked, willingly made reaching grabs at her wedding ring. Now, albeit you can sit there and say, well, it's a funny jab. She's just making jokes, whatever the case is. And at the time in 2017, that was what the case was. It wasn't until she went on the Red Table Talk in 2019.
Hey, I don't care.
And
A
talked
girl I
about
mess
how
with try
she
to
was, I
fake
don't
pull
wanna
up
say
there, and that's a
yearning
divorce right
for
there.
male
What you
attention,
doing?
but the
That's a
lack
bad
of
look to
attention
me.
that she was
Can't be
getting
outside making me look
solely
crazy in
because
public.
She's Steph Curry's wife. You can tell she was insecure about it, because if you guys
On
remember,
reality
during that
TV
playoff
show.
run, there was that photo of the lady in the crowd damn near had her nail in her mouth, looking incredibly lustfully at Steph Curry. It was going viral at the time, and all of the attention was constantly about how all of these women wanted Steph Curry, and here's Ayesha Curry essentially saying she's getting no attention whatsoever.
Okay, I
But
can
this was
understand
all
that, low-key.
pre-pandemic.
Like, this
We
whole
talk
thing,
about things
I
well
can
over
understand
6
where she's
years
coming
in the
from,
past.
but
the reason why
ooh,
there's
that's
so
true.
much of an
There's a
uproar is
timeline.
people haven't forgotten that. So the moment that you hear her say, well, I never wanted to be a wife, I never wanted to be a mother, people are going to take that and run with it. They're going to immediately say, oh, well, she said this, therefore her saying that. It all coincides and ties together. But they're not watching the entirety of the podcast. They're missing the complete context. Getting ready to go to college. By the time that he got into college and he's playing at Davidson, blowing up in the NCAA tournament,
And
March Madness.
excuse me,
getting ready
my
to go
fault.
to the,
My
NBA,
fault for
all
calling
these
her a
things
bitch,
happening
but
in real time. So you're already
Stephen
seeing
Curry,
this
basketball
is what's
coach, like-
transpiring, right? So it's kind of foolish. Well, I didn't know he was going to end up being at the NBA. Now, albeit she probably didn't know that he would ascend to the heights that he made it to. Hell, he probably didn't know that was the case too. Because remember, early in Steph Curry's career, he had them ankle injuries. People was like, man, he's incredibly injury prone. There was a situation when Golden State had to make a decision whether it was going to be Monte Ellis or Steph Curry. All these different things.
Real ones
Nobody
know.
could have predicted that these was, the heights that he was going to go and reach, ultimately becoming the greatest shooter of all time.
The greatest shooter of
top
all
15
time.
player of all time, and you can argue top
10,
player of
top
all time.
5,
Some people would even
really.
put him in the top 5, depending on who it is that you're talking to. But that's neither here nor there. It's not about Steph Curry. It's about Ayesha Curry. This is just a lady and a woman who is wrestling internally behind what is her identity, because you're married to this larger than life character, a one of one, and ultimately that light shining so incredibly bright, nobody looking at you. So there's a heightened level of insecurity that happens to be over there. Now, albeit she did mention in the episode, there's moments in which she tries to go and talk to Steph about those insecurities.
It's so hard also to be the woman in a situation
Low-key,
where
at
you're
the same time,
men
like,
just
I can
don't
understand
get
it.
as
Like,
much
if you're in a
scrutiny.
position where
Like, they can
your
maybe tell him,
husband
like, your fucking
is
shot
Stephen
sucked
Curry,
tonight, but,
he's
like,
always
the
gonna
looks and all of
overshadow
that
you. You
is
know what I'm
just,
saying?
like,
He's
not a
always gonna
factor of conversation
have the
as much.
spotlight. And whenever you come
Did
from
you
being the prize, or you come
talk
from
to Steph
being the
about it?
one that's
Like, or did you kinda
pursued
keep it within
to
yourself so it
going
didn't-
to somebody
I do
who's
not
not really looked at,
have
who's
a
overshadowed by
body
the
in my
husband
body that
who
can keep
doesn't have the
anything to
spotlight, it
myself.
can like make you question your
So
identity.
if
So
it comes to
I
mind,
do
it's
understand where
coming
she's coming
out.
from. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
And
not gonna lie.
he's so gracious. Like, he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't.
He's Stephen Curry. He
And
the
he
fucking
also comes
goat.
from a place of like,
He can't resonate with you.
Stupid. Like, what do you? It's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real.
Now, the positive is that she has these conversations with Steph. The downside is it still comes off as that she's searching for the vindication and validation from the populace. Because if he were to say, well, why do you care about it if it's not true? And if they're calling you ugly, but I think you're attractive, you think you're attractive, why is it that you need them to change their
You
tune
need
when at the end of
the
the day,
people's
it's
opinion. You got
us,
your
a circle
husband
of
saying you
two
look good.
that
You know you
matters
look
the
good. Why do you
most in
need
the
other
realm
men to
of
tell you look good?
attractiveness, right?
I
really
never
like the fact
understood
throughout
that.
the entirety of the episode, Alex Cooper, the podcast host, seemed to try to drive home a bunch of like the double standards. Like, yes, men and women are different. That's just what it is. We're never going to be viewed the same, right? She started off the entire premise talking about how, oh, well, why is it that a man isn't necessarily judged on his looks? In the case of Steph Curry, he's primarily going to be
Nigga, he's a
judged on
basketball
his
player,
jump
bro.
shot or something of his game.
Bro, it don't
Why is
matter
that they
how
don't talk about
chopped
the look?
you
Why
are,
do
bro.
think that-
If you
that's
can
not
pull
what the
from
context
30,
of his
bro, I
entire
don't care how
participation.
you
Like, what
look,
we do?
boy.
You play
Well, you could
basketball.
look like
Nobody
Chris
give a
Middle.
shit if you ugly. If you could go out there and drop 30 every single night, they
Damn,
gonna talk about the
my
fact that
bad,
you
my
drop
bad,
30.
Chris.
If you look like the underneath a shoe, that shit won't matter because people gonna be on some, yo, I want someone on my team, despite the fact that you ugly. You put up 30 a night. Like, this don't make no sense. If you happen to have a hot woman that's next to you, it's like, all right, that checks out. You're one of the best in the game. You got yourself a trophy wife. If you happen to have an incredibly hot lady, but then the hot lady is dating like an incredibly attractive dude, but that dude's a bum. You the unemployment final boss. You got nothing going for you outside of your looks. You know what they're gonna say? Yo, what's good with shorty? Why you with this bum? You can get with somebody else. Like, We're viewed differently. Not to say that's the only way that we're viewed, because I know there's gonna be some comment section. So women don't have any value outside of their looks. Men are only valued for what they can provide. I know there's gonna be people who's losing the doggone plot, but understand what it is that I'm saying, right? I just don't like the fact that we continue this doggone gender battle. Like, we need each other, right? Can
Yeah,
stop
we
this
need
bullshit?
each other. We want
Nonetheless,
each other.
let's
We
go back to
desire
Ayesha.
each other, but we
This is an
constantly
individual
push each
who,
other away from each
unfortunately,
other. So
is still dealing with the
I don't know.
insecurities. Now, albeit, that's not to say that she, when she was younger and didn't envision herself becoming a wife and a mother, that's not to say that she can't change her mind. She can change her mind. You could sit there at 16 and say, well, I'm just gonna be about my stuff. I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna become a Hollywood star. I'm gonna be like the Meghan Markle and all this other stuff going on. I wanna be like Viola Davis or whatever. And then all of a sudden you came across this dude who's larger than life, becomes one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And then now your role is wife and mother. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think she's still wrestling internally, trying to figure out, well, is this all I'm ever going to be? Albeit, once you become a parent, it's no longer about you anymore. However, she's in a position in which you have the resources.
see, the thing is,
to
I
where
can
you
see where she's
still
coming from, right?
be a
But
parent.
it gets to the point
And then
where
you could also
why are you
pursue
disrespecting your husband and
other
your family
endeavors
as a
that
whole?
it is that
I
you
get
wanna
that
do.
you
And
feel
she
like,
did
oh,
mention
you're not
in the
really
midst
as
of
wanted
the podcast,
because, oh, he
she
does have this
acknowledged
spotlight that is
being
overshadowing you. But
attached to
why do you
Steph
gotta
Curry
disrespect
did
him and your
indeed
family? Why you gotta say,
provide her with
oh,
different
I didn't even
sort
want
of
kids. I didn't even
possibilities
want
and
a husband.
opportunities?
Why are we
How
doing that? Why are we acting
did
weird, trying to
being
take our? That's
spotlight impact your
disrespectful.
relationship
Like
in the
that's
early days
different
because you guys didn't know how to handle
than
it.
you
It's a
saying like,
double-edged
oh,
sword.
it's making me feel this way, and it's
Because
something that I had
parts of
to
it
tackle
have
every day.
afforded
You know,
me
you don't
doors to be
gotta
open.
disrespect
I
that
obviously
nigga.
have to walk through them and then put in the work to stay in the room.
And your kids gonna grow up, they're
But
gonna
that,
see
I
you
think,
say
is the
that
elephant in
you
the room, and
never
I'm grateful
wanted
for that side of
kids.
things. But on the flip side,
What that gonna do to them? You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about what you say
I
on the internet sometimes. Like,
in the beginning hated it
but
so
let me.
much.
Oh wow, that was
I,
parasocial
did
as
not
hell.
sign up for that.
All that being said, I really implore everybody, just go and listen to the episode. Now, albeit it's not as if it's some amazing conversation, but it can
I ain't
provide a lot
listening
of
to that
context
shit. I
to
ain't gonna
the
lie.
conversation that's since been circulating around social media. I'll say this much. It's nothing more than a lady who's really struggling to figure out her identity outside of being a wife to one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Because again, like I stated prior, this is someone who was working since they were 3 with hopes and dreams of what it was that she was going to go and achieve. And essentially that went on the back burner because you had to essentially be a wife and a mother. Not to say that she could never get back into it, because for all intents and purposes, let's just say 10, 15 years from now, right? All the kids are older. She could go and break into Hollywood if she wanted to. It'll be a little bit different. You may not be in the prime of your life or beauty or whatever the case may
I ain't
be.
gonna lie, but
That's
when her
not to say
kids,
that those other
that's not really true.
won't
She already
possibly show its
in her
head down the
30s.
line.
When her kids
I
are
think
grown,
she's so desperate.
she might be. You think she gonna enter Hollywood in her 40s, bro?
Detached
That's not really realistic.
from
I ain't gonna
the
lie.
Curry name, to where it's like I worked and I grinded to get this on my own without people having to immediately go and point and say, oh, well, it's because of this person. But unfortunately, this is indeed, although she said, well, that's not what she had signed up for, but this is indeed what you do mess around and sign up for when you happen to indulge in a union with somebody who ends up becoming such a large figure. It's nothing different than somebody who's unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but someone who's an offspring, a child of somebody who's incredibly
Yeah, like a nepo
successful.
baby. When you think
Once
of
you
Bronny,
come
what do you
into
think
the
of? What do you think
category
of
of a
instantly? You
nepo
think of
baby,
LeBron,
you almost
and
never
LeBron
run from-
overshadows
It doesn't
Bronny. You
matter
gotta
what you do.
accept
Somebody's
the
gonna say, "Oh,
reality of the
that's mommy's
situation,
money. That's
and instead
daddy's
of
money. That's
creating
your
more
uncle's
problems,
money.
create a
That's
solution. You know what I'm saying? Like
grandparents' money.
the
They'll
reality of
never
it is
give
you're
credit
always
to
gonna be
you.
Hoping I
overshadowed.
don't get in trouble for the things that I say.
It's only trouble if you make it trouble. Because at the end of the day, none of us are within your relationship. If
I
hers isn't
I
good,
rock
none
with
of
this
shit
video.
matters.
I rock with this
But you
video
have to take
heavy.
into account
Not gonna
how
lie,
you
I really
will
do.
be perceived based off what it is that you said. And furthermore, you got to remember how social media works. Because the moment that you went on to the Red Table Talk and you said what you said, no matter what you do, no matter what you say,
I ain't gonna lie. You got my sub. I rock with this video. I rock with.
people are going
He
to
really
forever
talking.
remember this because you have a digital footprint. Hence why, naturally, people are going to end up contorting and twisting your words, whatever the case is. You just have to be at peace with the fact that there are people who are going to do that. So I say all that to say, just a bit of advice to Ayesha moving forward. You might have to think very, very closely to what it is that you're going to say and what you're going to share moving forward. Should you have to move that way? No, but it would be in your best interest to do so if you want to be able to go and control your narrative. Because I can tell you something right now, people who want to spin this and say, oh, well, it's because she's a woman. That's why they're viewing. Savannah James could hop on a podcast and just talk. As long as she doesn't get incredibly candid about things that nobody needed to know, for all intents and purposes, you can say whatever the fuck it is that you want to say, but you got to
people are going to
recognize
take
that what
it
you're saying is not
like
only
people are going to
affecting
take
you,
it how
it's
they
also
take it. You know what I'm
affecting,
saying?
you know, your spouse, because you're not only representing yourself, you're also representing your spouse. Hence why if Curry got on a podcast and he was talking about what Ayesha's kinks just so happen to be, or maybe he wasn't really feeling her like that back when they were younger or whatever, they're gonna look like, yo, that's your
Disrespectful.
wife, bro.
Like, why are you talking about your
airing her
wife
out
like that? You know
so
what I'm
it's
saying?
the same way
But
that it goes. So I say all that to say, just be very mindful of how people speak on socials. Overall, I think this was something that was blown completely out of proportion. It wasn't similar to
I
what we
agree.
saw when she was on the Red Table Talk, and people are just taking things out of context because they don't actually go watch the totality of the interview to understand what it was that she was saying and why it was that she was saying it. So there's been a bunch of think pieces. People have made a ton of different videos.
But I think we got pretty much a summary of the video. Yeah, a great video by Adonis. If you made it this far, comment banana. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you, and peace.